Okay, welcome everybody again. A reminder, keep those cell phones silenced, please. Raise your hand if you have a question. State your name and affiliation into the microphone. For those of you on Zoom, if you have a question, please do raise your hand. We'll do our best to get to you. Our format, again, is Coach will make an opening statement. We'll ask the student athletes questions after that. And when that's done, we will excuse them, and then we'll take questions for the coach. So with us today, we have Coach Sam Purcell, we have Jerkayla Jordan, and Anaya Russell. And with that, Coach, we'll ask for some comments.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, just really proud coach. We talked about how much respect that we have for Cal and that it was going to take our best defensive effort all year to come out with this win, and what I think everyone just witnessed was that best defensive effort all year. So just again, in a game that I thought was great for women's basketball, USC has a great fan base here and a cool environment. I know our girls and ladies were just so fired up for us to put 4 quarters together and win. All 4 were tied the second quarter. I couldn't be more happy, and especially in a game where a lot of people haven't been betting on us. We're going to enjoy this tonight, and then we'll keep that same energy where we're trying to change the script because I know nobody, all right, voted us for this next one. So we're going to enjoy tonight, and we'll get to work.
Okay, questions for the student athletes? Michelle.
Hi, Michelle Smith, the next. Anaya, you guys disrupted them really early. Did you feel like you put them in a hole that they had to dig out of the rest of the way?
Yeah, definitely. I think physicality and rebounding on our end, defense wins us games. So I don't think they was used to that. But Cal, like Coach said, has a very great team, and they had a great fan base. But keeping them, making them 2 us instead of 3 us, made us win games. Keeping them off the three-point line, they're very good three-point shooters. So physicality, rebounding, and denying, and just being strong. So yeah, I definitely think our defense disrupted them.
Question down here.
Joaquin Ruiz with the Daily Californian. You mentioned keeping Cal off the three-point line. We saw that all game, but Cal in general just really struggled offensively. Could you talk about keeping your hands busy in the paint? There's a lot of, they tried pick and rolls that just really had no luck closer to the basket.
Jerk?
Just like Anaya said, our emphasis this week was defense. We knew defense was going to win us this games. Then jumping out the gate strong, defensive hand, being very active. We worked out on practice, active ball hands. They're great passers. They're a very smart team. They could pick you apart, but today our team, we were locked in the first half, the first quarter. And like you said, we got a lead up on them early, and we just make sure we stay solid all 4 quarters.
And I also want to take it to another level to give some shout out to some special people. All right, the NCAA sometimes gets a hard time, but what's a really cool rule right now is we get to travel practice players. All right, so we've had some phenomenal practices, like I told them, that if your preparation, all right, is on point, it's funny how your success comes. And I want to give a shout out to them, along with assistant coach Tony Dukes and Victoria Vivens, because I thought they did a great job getting us ready for something as close as possible to simulate what we were going to see tonight. And I think that's why you saw so many deflections and confidence from my young women, because they understood the coverage that was going to be needed to disrupt things.
Thomas Dunn, right for California for Jerkayla. I was wondering how you evaluate your team's composure, because we're from the start to the finish, it seemed like you guys never got too high, never got too low, and kept going to work, especially in a big-time environment.
Honestly, I would just say before the game, we knew, we're the away team. We're not from California, obviously. So the only people we had were us and then our fan. And we just stay together as a team in the huddle. We talk to each other. We make sure we stay poised. We make sure, like you said, we didn't get too high, we didn't get too low. The 5 on the court, make sure we were all on the same page throughout the whole game, and just listen to our coaches and our staff and our teammates.
I also want to throw a shout out to Anaya Russell down there, all right, for any future job people here. I don't know who runs the double-decker bus, but we took our team 2 days ago. Anaya took over the mic, and I really believed it carried over onto the court because she's never talked that much on defense. So future job opportunities for Anaya Russell here in California, kid.
Other questions for the student athletes? Michelle again?
For both players, do you want to talk about what comes next, facing USC on their home court, and one of the biggest stars in the country with Juju. And so how do you guys see Monday night going?
I think USC is a very great team. But right now, going to keep the focus on us, get to work and practice hard. And just stay focused on us right now. So that's the main focus right now. We just going to get after it after practice, like Coach said. We got the practice players, Victoria Vivens, TD, and hopefully we just get it right. We're going to get it right. Sorry about that. We're going to get it right.
That's right.
We're going to get it right.
We're going to celebrate us tonight and lock in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anything else for the student athletes? Thank you for joining
Thanks,
us.
y'all.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll now direct questions to Coach. Down here in the front.
Marissa Jemmy, San Francisco Chronicle. Sam, what did you see from Cal coming into this game? Like, obviously, their three-point shooting was really strong all year. I know you guys focused on shutting that down, but as you were preparing for Cal, did anything surprise you? And did you ever expect them to kind of get going in this game in a way that they never really did?
Yeah, so we're a big scouting report defensive team. I'll put ourselves up there because, again, when I was at Louisville and made those Final Four runs, Jeff Walls taught me how to break down film and try to put game plans together. I've been able to hire 3 former head coaches. So at the time, we really, I think we probably went through 15 games. Right, that's how detailed we were. All right, only thing I think we're missing is their social security number. All right, we knew tendencies, which way they wanted to go. It was just really cool how my young women were dialed in and willing to accept the information, but then most importantly apply it. And we referred a lot back to their Duke game. Right, because they held them to the lowest, because we think Cal is one of the best half-court offensive teams in the country, but we felt like if we could disrupt them and get them out of calling sets and make them go to some other things to try to have pressure releasers, that we might have a fighting chance, and most importantly, if we wear them down, those times that we messed up, maybe they would shoot with tired legs instead of with fresh legs. And I think you saw a lot of that tonight because sometimes in games like this, when you play good teams, you need a little luck. And tonight, obviously, we had a little luck, but we also had a lot of hard work. So just, again, so much respect for Cal because that's a team that was in the top 25 for 8 weeks, beat several teams that we played in the SEC. So they had our full respect. And, again, we just knew it was going to be a game that we're going to have to bring it for 40 minutes, and we did.
Down here in the front. We'll get to a couple of the Zoom questions in a minute.
Thomas Dunn, right for California. Sam, I thought your positional defense across the board was on rails all night. How can you speak to the preparation of this team and how they digested the information? Because sometimes it's a lot to overload and not overcoach at the same time. Yeah,
well said, man. So luckily, I think everybody always talks about my guards. They need to start talking about my bigs. Right, Medina's athleticism and motor is next level, and I keep saying it. We're watching one of the best post players in the country come to life, and I'm fortunate to coach her. And then you had Mir. Thank God it wasn't worse with her knee injury. She made some huge blocks when Medina was able to muck it up, and then she comes in and blocks. And then I bring in Kayla, who's my enforcer, and I think their physicality allowed my guards to eat. And then when they hold it down on the inside, I've got a lot of great speed and length so they could disrupt what they were trying to do.
Okay, let's go to Robbie Falk.
Robbie.
Hey, Coach, congratulations.
Yep, thanks, buddy.
3-1 now in the NCAA tournament.
A lot better than my SEC record.
Team has played really good basketball when you get here. What is it about your teams? This is two completely different teams, but have just taken it to the next level, it seems like, both times you've been in the tournament.
Yeah, I'm going to brag about myself and pat myself on the back. I think, again, if you give me time, I think that's what I've been known for my whole career is putting game plans together. And, again, I'm a firm believer that proper planning prevents piss-poor performance. And you just had a well-oiled scout that we stuck to. Where in the SEC tournament, you don't have enough time and break. And then I think there's something to be said about the length of the season. I've said this before, and it's no knock into the SEC, but we don't have an off day. We play on Sundays. Our off day is a school day, so we go full time. A lot of people thought I was crazy, but I gave my young women 4 days off after that loss and just told them to go have fun and be a college student. All right, enjoy spring break and come back fresh. And I think you see a joy and an energy about them that's next level. And again, you know, it was just a special vibe, and I think that's why you're seeing us have so much success in the NCAA tournament compared to the SEC.
Okay, let's go to Evan from the Citizen Times.
Yeah, Evan Gerke, USA Today Network. You went back and forth a bit with the refs about Dracula's Tech. What were you saying to them, and what were your thoughts on that call?
Yeah, well, first of all, we're here in Hollywood, okay? We're trying to put on a show, and I think the women's game is as good as it's ever been. And I think, you know what? I think it's a double-edged sword sometimes. I think women aren't allowed to show the same emotion that men can't sometimes. And I understand the rule when you do taunting or you're trying to personalize it to the opposing team. But my young woman was doing it in front of the camera. And my kids, they live for this moment. Bright lights, big stage, let's eat. And she was trying to do it right in front of the camera on ESPN2, and that's where I was upset. It was like, man, let that kid have her moment because we've got an audience and they want to be fed. So let's keep feeding them and let's don't slow the game down.
All right, we'll go to Benjamin Rosenberg.
Yeah, hi, Coach. I know you mentioned Medina a little bit earlier, but a heck of an NCAA tournament debut for her. She certainly seemed to get the better of her matchup with Onya in there. So what were the keys to her having the game that she did, and how can she continue it in the next round?
Well, I don't know. I would say she got the best out of her. I think you had two elite post players go at it. Again, that's why I was so upset, because we had a great game for women's basketball on TV, and especially those two young ladies. Medina had 14. The other young lady had 17. Medina had 13 rebounds. The other young lady had 15. It was just a dogfight. But I just think, again, what Medina doesn't necessarily get credit for is the deflections, the altering the pass, things that never show up on a box score. But most importantly, her body language. I think don't fact check me on this, but she probably started 0 for 4 in her first NCAA tournament, and she knew she wanted to do better. She didn't put her head down. She just worked harder. And when you got kids who think like that, you've got chances. And again, I'm the luckiest coach in the world to be coaching her.
Okay, we're going to go one last question. Robbie, do you have a follow-up question?
Robbie, I hope you're going to ask me about Flavor Flav. All right, not picking the Bulldogs, my guy. And also LaChana Robinson, who's my best friend. She's in wedding season. I hope this goes on Twitter. Her wedding gift might be questionable, hon. My wife's in here. We might be sending her less a wedding gift. She did not believe in the Bulldogs. Okay, Tim McGraw is no longer my favorite country music artist. All right, I'm going Garth Brooks. All right, so we pay attention to the love and the shout-outs. And thank you, Robbie. Go ahead.
They better talk to you nice.
Amen, buddy. Amen.
Well, you talked coming into this about, everybody's going to be talking about Juju, and that's all obviously a huge matchup for you. I mean, what's your early thoughts on playing that team, playing Juju, and playing in that arena?
Well, I got a lot. First of all, I was just a fan today on the sideline because, again, who Juju is. Again, the women's basketball is in a great game. I love how the young lady carries herself, the way she just moves in transition, and just the competitiveness about her was fun to watch. So I'm not going to have a good night tonight trying to watch it on film. But again, when you've got the number one seed, it's more than one player. She's got a supporting cast that is next level. I hit my staff about 5 times because the way they rotate bodies and keep throwing McDonald's All-Americans in there, I think it's going to be the McDonald's All-American kids against the Burger King kids. All right, or what's the awesome hamburger spot here? In-N-Out? Yeah, let's go. Maybe we get an NIL deal with In-N-Out real quick. But no, seriously, they're loaded with talent. Again, every poll, because I pay attention to what people write, the storyline here in Hollywood has already been written. It's USC going to face UConn in the Elite Eight. So like any good movie, we need a plot twist. All right, we need to mix it up, but we've got our work cut out because you're playing one of the best teams in the country who's mad that they're in this bracket. All right, we've watched the news. All right, so we know it's going to be an absolute war. And then I know the assistant coach on the other end over there, and Beth Burns, who I mentioned last time should be in the Hall of Fame. Beth, I'm going to need you to take it easy because, as much as I think I'm a great scout, Beth Burns she's up there as well too. So they're going to have a great plan. This place will be rocking. Our backs will be against the wall, and again, it's going to take another effort that we're going to have to play our best game.
Great, Coach. That's all the time we have. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.